Hey guys, it's Joey, and this is the Witchy vlog for my experiencing the rune Ehwaz on the Celtic path. And this is just sort of my diary, my interpretations of the energies with the rune as we worked through the week. This is actually the final of the, I guess, Nordic runes, the group Runes 101, and we've worked through them all over the weeks, unbelievably, already, and the other group will be opening up and we'll be making videos about that, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to carry on with this style with the other runes, the open runes of mine that I got some time ago. So we're going to read from the sort of rune diary, if you like. So just a quick recap: horse, momentum, speed, trust, speed of thought and deed, spiritual advancement, control, change, progress, journey, partnership, physical movement, shifts, new dwelling places, anticipated change for the better, journey by land, gradual development, steady progress. Reversed in divination purposes, to hold fast and not implement changes yet, and magic is change or safe travel. So you may notice that there isn't that much surrounding the rune this week. We have the black jar candle. It's actually a licorice candle that I got for Halloween, and I like it so much, and it seemed to resonate really well with the Morrigan, so I dedicated it to her. It almost glows almost red as well, which is interesting. Then we have crow feathers, which are obviously connected to the Morrigan. I have collected those myself. They have been gifts from the goddess. They've not been bought or any nonsense. I went and found them. And a smudge stick. So these sort of things sort of sum up the sort of week that I've actually had. So the following quotes seemed to resonate of importance at the beginning of the week. Wear your tragedies as armour, not shackles. Anonymous. Never forget what you are, for surely the world will not. Make it your strength, then it can never be your weakness. Armour yourself in it, and it will never be used to hurt you. Tyrion Lannister. It's from Game of Thrones, obviously, but it's also on one of the posters that I won as part of the Game of Thrones competition. I have to have a dark side if I am to be whole. C.G. Young. And then my own: we can never go back, we can never unsee, we cannot undo the changes brought upon us, we can only stand up and fight and not surrender. I'm not strange, weird, off, nor crazy, my reality is just different from yours. Lewis Carroll. Adventures in Wonderland. And it is better to be hated for what you are than loved for what you are not. Kurt Cobain. Oh, there's quite a few quotes actually. There's some more here. This one's mine. All intellectual property rights reserved. And I'll rip through the forest path, branches pulling through my hair, because I am a wild thing and really I belong there. In many shamanic societies, if you came to a medicine person complaining of being disheartened, dispirited or depressed, they would ask you one of 4 questions. When did you stop dancing? When did you stop singing? When did you stop being enchanted by the stories? When did you stop finding comfort in the sweet territory of silence? G. Roth. And my final quote for me: when you love someone, you should never seek to instill fear in them. It is the undoing of love. So yesterday I did a lot. Okay, this week I've done a lot of healing, purifying and protection work. Yesterday I did some for a friend and it worked almost straight away. I've been spell working a lot more this week, anti-hex work, purifying work, and it has been very effective, very fast. There have been nudgings of conflicts here and there, however I've not been engaging. I've also noticed a lot this week there's been a lot of people judging or picking at other people's path working, even within, and especially within the pagan community, bashing each other's practice. I had it earlier this week and I've seen it happening to a lot of people. I feel like I've been placed in the sweet territory of silence this week, as aforementioned in the shamanic quote earlier, to watch the movement rather than being physically moved myself. My psychic abilities have gone through the roof this week. I've just been... I know what's going on, I know what to do about it, I can sense energies the second they're released, that sort of thing. The powers have been through the roof this week. The following quote was shared by the elemental witch and is actually by Sally Walter. Just feel the magic in the air and the power in the breeze. Feel the energy of plants, the bushes and the trees. Let yourself be surrounded by nature at its best. Calm yourself, focus, and let magic do the rest. Which kind of sums up how this week has actually been. I've been seeing two crows together a lot this week, so on multiple occasions I've seen two crows together. Some in flight, some walking around, some on, well, there's one on the animal troughs in one of the nearby fields. Things like that. And this made me think of the numerical value of 2, particularly within the tarot deck, because that's obviously my other main form of divination, as it's usually the indicating factor of the beginning of some sort of journey, depending on the suit. I was also drawn to try a new tarot spread this week for the first time in years. I don't know about anyone else, I get quite attached to the way that I pull my tarot cards, and therefore tried out the Balancing Act, which was inspired by the Two of Pentacles cards in the Shadowscapes Tarot. Given there has been no physical journey this week, it makes me inclined to think that this is a precursor to journey. Messages of finding myself and not doubting myself, and therefore unchaining myself from the words and deeds of the negative actions or words of others who seek to bring me down. This week has felt like a pause, a silence, a time to watch rather than act. I'm reminded of a quote my friend shared: silence is better than bullshit. And with the silence this week comes perspective, allowing me to see the negative actions of others for what they are, allowing them to pass me by without taking them on as a burden, and even allowing me to laugh at the fact that so many people seem to be wasting their time and energy when they could be bolstering themselves in all sorts of ways, but instead they are focusing on being negative to other people. On the way back from Tesco's this morning, I saw a huge murder of crows all circling a telegraph pole. Many were sat on the lines, many were swirling around it in flight, and there were probably 50 crows around this one thing. It was insane. It looked incredible, it felt spiritual and unusual, almost like a cone of power or a vortex with crows. Perhaps an indicator that actually this week has been about coming into my power a little bit more, into myself a little bit more, understanding the balance a little bit more. So all in all, it's been a very quiet final week. There's been no explosions with this rune. It's been steady, and I guess that is the energy of the rune. It's often compared, you know, there's the horse element, that steady movement, and obviously even in its reverse aspect within divination, it's not necessarily negative, but it does mean it's holding fast and not implementing changes. So the way that I have sort of experienced this rune has been that sort of steadiness, that silence, that pause, that consideration of everything around me. Excuse me. There has been a lot of tiffing going on all around me, although I've not taken part in any of it as much as possible. I've just been very withdrawn, apart from offering people I think that's the wrong way of saying it, offering people whom I value, my friends, and the ladies that mean a lot to me, like healing magic work, protection work and purifying work, and sort of adding my energies to theirs to help them through this really difficult time. I've done that for two people this week. Yeah. And that felt really important as part of the moving on through the process of purifying out any negativity that was affecting them as well as me. Furthermore, in the course of this week, I had been suspecting the shamanistic energies that had been coming through were some kind of message. And I wondered if it would climax a bit this week. But instead, it was a taking stock kind of week. It was a watch, listen, observe type week. Sort of learning from the silence that I mentioned in the shamanic quote from the beginning of the week actually turned out to be very potent, very indicative of how the whole week was going to be. I kind of wondered whether there's going to be travel involved, if there was going to be journeys involved, if it was going to be a big leap forward, and instead it was this comfort in the sweet territory of silence idea that overshadowed everything else. This taking time to be still, to be quiet and be silent and watch and listen and learn about what's going on around you. Not only in terms of the beauty and majesty of the outside world, because when you are silent and you actually look and feel what's going on in the outside world, it can be incredibly beautiful. I went for a walk earlier in the week and the wind was picking up autumn leaves and swirling them in sort of swirl patterns around my feet as I was walking, and I was thinking it's the most incredibly beautiful experience, just nature doing its thing, and it's incredibly magical and incredibly moving. And these are the sorts of things which a lot of us and a lot of people might completely ignore. Just walking down the street, they completely ignore it and not even see that little movement, that little breath of the goddess, that little nudge, and it was just so beautiful. And I truly believe my engaging with this rune on a level of being quiet and being silent, of appreciating it, has allowed me to see some of the more beautiful things that are going on in this world and allow me to relate those to people who are having a hard time as well. So because I've been able to take inspiration and joy from the world around me, because I have been engaging in this silence, I've been able to then encourage others in that thought, don't completely get bogged down by the negativity or the naysaying or the whatever, because there is fragments of beauty in the world even when it's at the darkest. And I've had people doing that for me as well. I haven't been totally unaffected by the negativity, and people will shine lights in and say things and uplift you and offer words and ideas. Excuse me. Or even gestures of friendship and kindness. I received a really beautiful gift from Tracy this week, and it was uplifting and so beautiful, and it was just chinks of light that shine through and allow you to appreciate the way that joy can come in, even when people are doing their utmost to try and make you feel like you're not good enough. And that has been thrown throughout this week. I've seen that happen time and time again this week, not just to me but to a lot of people, and it's kind of sad. It's kind of been very much this idea that your path isn't as good as, oh, I don't like you, so I can say what I want about you, or I don't like you as a person, so I'm going to disagree with everything you say. This, and it's just kind of niggly and sad, really. And it brings back to this quote by Kurt Cobain, it's better to be hated for what you are than loved for what you are not. And everybody is entitled to their own opinion, for sure. And everyone is entitled to like or dislike something, but it doesn't mean you have to go on the attack when you don't like something or someone. And I think the idea of freedom to have your opinion and have your own beliefs somehow becomes muddled with the idea that we can treat people badly and say we're allowed to do whatever we want and you can't say that anything against it because we're free to be like that. And that to me isn't freedom. That's not a path working, that isn't a journey, that's just attacking someone for whatever reason, and the only thing that achieves is spreading poison, and whether it be poisoning yourself